All right, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, it's time guys, it's time to start exploring Red Silver's Rayleigh. Got a whole video lined up for you today on this leader, and we will be visiting even more in the future, okay? The leader ended up being a lot better than a lot of people thought it would be, okay, myself included. I was very concerned when I read what this leader did and thought, okay, how are we going to work with this? But Bandai did give the leader enough support to actually maybe be pretty competitive. Okay, we'll talk about that more as we're getting into the video. All right, so first things first, we're going to head over to the deck list. I'm going to break that down for you guys, tell you what we're working with. After that, we're going to go over to the sim. We got 5 games on the sim, and we're going to finish up the video. I'm going to tell you guys what I think about the leader moving forward and all that good stuff, all right? I'll have everything timestamped in the general description. And if you guys have any comments, questions, suggestions, or anything like that, please do not hesitate to put those down in the comments section below, or hop on the VV Theory Discord. Link will be in the channel description. Today's video is brought to you by Nin Garden, and their summer kickoff sale is live. They're offering 10 to 40% off site-wide across the entire store. For a limited time, get a free playmat tube with every Sun God playmat purchase while supplies last. Also, don't forget to use my code, the VV Theory, at the checkout for an extra 10% off. Alright, so let's go ahead and break down the deck list for today's video, guys. We're going to start off with the leader. Rayleigh is a 5,000 power, 5 life red leader with 2 different effects here. You cannot have cards with a cost of 5 or greater in your deck according to the rules. So it's not really so much an effect as it is a restriction, right? So we cannot include cards in our deck that cost 5 or more. Okay, so that's 5 cost Rush Luffy. That's even, and by the way, it's cards, not just characters. So even something like a 6 cost Honesty Impact, we can't run events that cost 5 or more, characters, stages, you name it. Every card in our deck has to be on the cost of 4 or lower. Okay. Then the actual effect on this leader says activate main once per turn. You may reveal 2 event cards from your hand and then give up to one of your characters with a base power of 4,000 or less plus 2,000 power during this turn. Okay, so for all the players out there who enjoy like a good challenge, you know, on the deck building side of things and even on the playing side of things, if you enjoy a challenge, and one other thing, if you enjoy really technical style decks, well, this could be the perfect leader for you. I'll tell you right now, guys, because the way that this deck plays out and the way you have to build it with certain, you kind of want to stick to certain ratios. Not to say we figured what those ratios are yet. Like, we haven't figured out what those ratios are yet. But there's like certain, you have to run a certain amount of events in your deck so that you can reveal enough event cards every single turn to get your leader effect when it matters. And then there are also other effects in this deck, like we're gonna look at in a second here, like with this Luffy. Again, you have to reveal 2 events. So you have to sequence things properly, you have to build your deck properly, and you're also restricted from using some of the best cards in the entire game. For example, one card that we can't run is like this ST21 Luffy. Most red decks are running a card like this. Other red decks are also going to run cards like Ben Beckman or maybe even Edward Newgate. Or how's about these powerhouses here, Dragon and Silver's Rayleigh. That's right, unfortunately we can't run Rayleigh in Rayleigh. Don't even get me started on that, right? Okay, but you know, we're going to make do with what we have. And I think Bandai did give us some decent tools to work with here with this leader. Now, we're going to run through the list, and we're going to talk about it. If you're a newer player, I am going to mouse over every single card for you to pause and read if you don't know what it does. But we're mainly going to focus on the new OP-12 cards in this breakdown. So we're running 4 Buggy, we're running 4 Shakuyaku, we're running 4 of the 2-cost OP-01 SR Luffy, 4 Boa Hancock, 4 Sanji, 4 Jinbei, 2 of the promo 2K counter 3-cost Luffy, 2 Uda, this is all the way back from OP-01 as well, and then we have 4 Luffy, this is the new OP-12 Luffy, 2, now this whole entire event suite here, especially like these first 4, these are all from OP-12, they're like newer cards, right? So we have To Never Doubt, that is power, we're going to break down what they do in just a second, running 2 of these, running 4 of Observation Hockey, 4 Conqueror's Hockey, and 3 Armament Hockey, okay? Then we're running 2 Divine Departures and 3 Gum Gum Volgum. Excuse me. Some of the, I will say this. Some of the decks over in the East are running another event. Let me type in event real quick. They're running this card right here. I've seen a lot of decks run this from the East. The version you're looking at right here, guys, this is my version that I've been cooking up here that I've been working on. I've been getting some inspiration from the East, but this is mainly what I've been trying to make happen, trying to make work. I've seen a lot of decks run this card here. It's called Gum Gum King Kong Gatling. Notice what this does. It is 2-cost main event here, or main effect. Give up to one of your leader or characters plus 3,000 power. Then if your opponent has a character with 7,000 power or more, give up to one of your leader or characters plus 1,000 power for the turn. And then the trigger can KO a 5,000 power or less character. So here's the thing. Even if your opponent doesn't have a 7,000 power or bigger character, that's not a big deal. You're paying 2 and you're getting 3 Dawns worth of power boost, but you could potentially be paying 2 Dawn to get 4,000 power boost, right? And you know, getting a 4,000 power boost is really not bad for 2 Dawn. Like, that's actually very good. And we're going to talk about armament hockey in a minute. This is like the super cheap version of this effect here. And I'm not a huge fan of this. I do understand you're going to end up giving your leader unblockable. Pause and read this card if you don't know what it does. We will probably circle back to it in a second here. But, you know, this card right here, you're going to be able to give your leader unblockable, and then you can buff him up with Armament Hockey or buff him up with Gum Gum King Kong Gatling and just try to go for a lethal attack if they have no life and a bunch of blockers on the board. I get the idea behind it, and it also helps you attack more into their board. But I'm favoring more removal in my Silver's Rayleigh list because I think over here in the West, I do think we're going to have to worry about dealing with something like Buggy, for example. I think Blue Buggy, now that we have the new starter decks, I think he's ST25, right? I think Blue Buggy is ST25. There was some pretty good support that they got in there. And let me just say right now, so understand how this deck works, right? A bunch of 3-cost and 4-cost characters in here and a few 1- and 2-cost characters. Well, if Buggy drops down a certain character, this promo Buggy right here, that's pretty much all she wrote. That's basically game over. If you cannot get rid of this character, you don't even get to attack with over half your characters in the deck. In fact, the only characters I'd be able to attack with in this deck, actually, I guess you'd still be able to attack with about half your characters, but look how small they are. I'm running 4 Boa, 4 Luffy, 4 Shakiyaku, and 4 Buggy. So if they drop down this 7-cost Buggy, we cannot attack with our Sanji, our Jinbei, our 3-cost promo Luffy, our 4-cost OP-12 Luffy, or the 4-cost Uda. Or even like 3-cost Sanji, you name it. We won't be able to attack with anything because of this character's effect. And I would rather just have at least some option in here to remove it. And the only option I have is Divine Departure, but think of it like this. Excuse me. If I'm going against a Buggy player, well, I'm going to prioritize searching for Divine Departure over anything else, right? And here's the thing: they might already have something down, like there's a new 8-cost character coming out, this Crocodile and Mihawk card here. This could even protect the 7-cost Buggy. And hey, if they get this plus the Buggy, you're just in deep, deep trouble, right? The game's probably over. Start attacking as aggressively as you can with your leader and these little 1-cost and 2-cost characters. You know, do what you have to do, of course, to win. But when it comes to, you know, this card, we can't really play around this very much. Notice what it says: once per turn, if your cross-guild type character would be removed from the field by your opponent's effect, you may trash 1 card from your hand instead. Okay, so once per turn, they'll be able to save their Buggy. But in order to do this effect here, you know, we can only do this once, right? Because it costs 1 Dawn plus 5 to use Divine Departure to KO an 8,000 power or less character. So we can only use one of these in a turn. So if we can't get rid of them on the first time, well, then we're not going to get rid of it. And now they have, you know, this Mihawk and the 7-cost Buggy we were just talking about, and we'll be in so much trouble then. But let me say this: if we can catch a Buggy player who just plays out the Buggy early on, and they only have 1 Buggy maybe, and you can pop it with Divine Departure, you'll probably be just fine. Okay, that's the one major matchup to look out for, is against Blue Buggy. But other than that, I think Rayleigh is a generic enough aggro deck where you can kind of just deal with what everyone's trying to do. So now let me break down the deck list and show you guys what's going on here. I really like how the sim does this now, by the way. If I'm not mistaken, it looks like they go by cost here. Oh, it says sort by cost right here. I wonder if it does it to the front. I'm not sure. Anyway, whatever the case is, it looks like it's all sorted by cost. We have 1 drops, 2 drops, 3 drops. It goes right down the line. What you're trying to do early on is drop down these 1-cost searchers, right? Or going second, you could drop down Boa Hancock. However, you might want to save the Boa. It depends on what your hand looks like. If you're going second, you still might not want to play out Boa Hancock first if you have the option to play out like this Luffy or to play out this Shakiyaku. Because what you might actually want to do is save the Boa play for the next turn on your second turn going second where you're on 4 Dawn, play out Luffy, revealing 2 events from your hand to cheat out the Boa to do it, and then attaching it rested Dawn to your leader. And then cheating out the Boa and doing another search. So that there are some play lines in this deck. It's definitely not super straightforward. This new Jinbei, actually, hang on, let me keep going in order. So this is your early game. All of these 1 and 2 drops here. Going first, I would definitely slam down either the Buggy or the Shakiyaku. If you have the option to do either or, I'd probably prioritize I'm just going to call her Shaki from now on, or I don't know, Shakiyaku. I have no idea how to say this. I would probably play her out first, though, because she can search up Luffy. And by the way, all of these cards that we have for searchers, Buggy, Shakiyaku, and Boa, they can all search up events. Okay, all of them can. So like I said, if we're going against a deck where we need like removal or something, well, every single one of our searchers can get what we need here. So early on, we're going to play out the searchers, and I would prioritize Shakiyaku because of Monkey D. Luffy. If you can get your hands on this card and cheat out anything else with it, like any of these cards down here, you can cheat out with it, and this 3-cost promo Luffy, you can cheat any of these out with the 4-cost Luffy. Notice it doesn't say you can't cheat out a card named Luffy. It just has to be a character, a red character with a power of 3,000 or less. So we can cheat out the Buggy, Shakiyaku, the Luffy, the Boa, the Sanji, even the Sanji, and then this 3-cost promo 2K counter Luffy. We can cheat those out when we play out this Luffy if we can reveal 2 events. Okay, so that's the early game there. Luffy's nice as well, the 2-cost Luffy, because notice what he does: activate main, give this character up to 2 Rested Dawn cards. Now, keep that in mind, so we can just activate main, give 2 Rested Dawn cards, right? Well, why is that important? Okay, other than being able to reuse Dawn, right, to get more value from our Dawn. Well, watch this. This 4-cost, this new OP-12 4-cost Luffy, look what he does. If you have 2 or more attached Dawn cards on the field, this character gains plus 2,000 power. So all of a sudden, if we say we played this out, on turn 1, I guess, and then pass the turn. Actually, let's just do it like this. Turn 2 going second. Say we play out this Luffy and this Luffy off of the Luffy's effect. So for 4 Dawn, we play this out, reveal 2 events, cheat out this Luffy, and then use his activate main to attach 2 Dawn to him. This is a 6,000 power character now, and then we can pass turn, and now, our board's a little bit safer. And then on the following turn, when we're on our 6 Dawn turn, we can play out everything for the entire turn, use all of our Dawn, and then attach 2 Dawn to this Luffy for free. Rested Dawn, attach 2 for free. I can swing in for 5 here. I can swing in for 6 here now because I have 2 attached Dawn somewhere else, and I can go about things in that way. So this card, and so the 2-cost Luffy and the 4-cost Luffy, they really are like a match made in heaven. And then on top of that, if you somehow can, get this in the mix too, the promo Luffy, when he has 2 Dawn attached, this character gains plus 2,000. So if you play out this character off of this character's effect, the 3-cost Luffy off the 4-cost promo, the 4-cost OP-12 Luffy, well now, next turn, if you attach 2 Dawn to this Luffy, you're buffing the 4-cost Luffy by 2,000, and this Luffy by 4,000, making him a 7K attacker. So a lot of stuff going on there. Very, very intricate lines of play. Okay, we're running Sanji just because this card's incredible, right? And it's a card we can cheat out with the 4-cost Luffy. We'll take it. And then we have 3-cost Jinbei. This Jinbei, we can't cheat it out off of the Luffy because it does not have 3,000 power. It has 4,000. But this card is really good. It's a 1K counter in hand. And check this out. On play, reveal 2 event cards from your hand. Again, we have to make sure that ratio is really nice on our event cards. If we can reveal 2 event cards from our hand, this character will gain Rush, and he will get plus 1,000 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. Seems good. So now this is basically in Rayleigh. This is a 3-cost 5,000 power Rush Zoro with a 1K counter built in, right? And we can buff it with our leader. Like the 3-cost 5,000 power Rush Zoro. Let me bring that card up on the screen. This is an old school card here. This card right here. This Zoro is just a great red card, right? This has been a solid red Rush card since it came out all the way back in OP-01. Well, imagine if this card had a 1K counter on it. Well, it kind of does in this deck, and better, since it's not a 3-cost 5K. Now, defensively, it's not as good, right? Because if they swing 5,000 into 5,000, that's easier to counter out of than swinging 3,000 into 4,000. But remember, until when you play this card out for the first turn, he will be a 5,000 power character. Jinbei will be, but after that, he'll be a smaller character. But here's the thing: because it's a 4,000 base power character, we can buff it with our leader's effect. So on the next turn, we can actually swing for 6 with it with no Dawn investment. So really good stuff there. So defensively, yeah, this Zoro is slightly better than Jinbei, but you know, other than that, I mean, they kind of serve the same purpose. You're going to rush the card out, and this one has a 1k counter on it in hand, and this card can be buffed by the leader, whereas this one cannot. So really good stuff there. Okay, Uda, this is all the way back from OP-01. We can pull back any of these cards right here with Uda. Okay, return up to 1 red character card other than Uda with a cost of 3 or less from your trash to your hand. The only card we cannot pull back from the trash in this deck that's a character is the 4-cost Luffy. Everything else we can pull back, so think about it like this. Or later in the game, we can play out Uda, and then grab back like a Buggy or maybe even a Boa and replay that out. Get more searcher power, fill out the board more, fix our hand a little bit, and go about things from there. So I do like running 2 of these. I don't think we need more than 2, and some people might not want to run this card. It's, you know, I have seen, like, just kind of looking at the different deck lists from the East, from OP-12 over on, like, gumgum.gg or OnePieceTopDecks.com. It looks like they're favoring more of an aggro approach, which, I mean, hey, Rayleigh is red and it's very aggressive. You know, not a single card in the deck is 5 cost or more, right? I understand that approach, like kind of all-inning, but when it comes to this game, when it comes to One Piece, aggro decks can kind of swap directions when they need to. Like, it's like, okay, if they just gave me every card from their hand, I guess I'll send a few more of these attacks, like, into their board. Because, like, say you can't win on that turn. Like, okay, so you're down to, like, 1 or 2 cards in hand. Okay, well, how's about I just turn the rest of my cards sideways into the opponent's board and start taking the board back in that way. All right, well, that's about it, guys. I think, hang on. No, we went over Uda. Now, this is the new Luffy. We did go over this a little bit. The on-play, though, I will say real quick, it's you may reveal 2 event cards from your hand and play up to 1 red character with a power of 3,000 or less from your hand. Then give up to 1 rested Dawn card to your leader or one of your characters. Really nice on-play effect there to flood the board a little bit and go about things that way. Now, I do have to break down these armament hockey, conquerors hockey, and observation hockey real quick, and this to never doubt that is power. So these events are pretty strict to Rayleigh for the most part. I mean, I guess you can run them in other red decks if you want to, especially if you want to include Rayleighs in that deck. But this is really meant more for the leader Rayleigh. So this first one here, check this out, guys. 0 cost event, main, you may give up to 2 active Dawn cards to your Silver's Rayleigh. It says you may, but for the newer players out there, let me be very specific. If you want the effect, it's not an option. Okay, you do have to give 2 active Dawn, not rested, active Dawn cards to your leader in this case, right? You're going to have to give 2 active Dawn cards to your leader, and then your opponent cannot activate blocker if that leader or character attacks during this turn. Notice it says if that leader or character attacks during this turn. What it's saying is you may give up to 2 active Dawn cards to your card named Silver's Rayleigh. So that could be a character or a leader. Okay, well, in this case, we only can have access, like at the current time, me recording this video and putting it out and all that, there's only a few different Rayleighs in the game, and I will bring those up on the screen right now. There's a 5-cost Silver's Rayleigh and an 8-cost Silver's Rayleigh. So yes, this card right here, and most of these cards, notice how they say, you know, you may attach 1 active Dawn card to your Silver's Rayleigh, give up to 1 of your characters or your Silver's Rayleigh plus 2,000 power. Well, that's a counter. That's a little different. But then this armament hockey one here. You may attach 1 active Dawn card to your Silver's Rayleigh. Anytime you see Silver's Rayleigh in brackets like that, okay, it means a card named Silver's Rayleigh. It could be a leader or a character. As long as it's on the board, you can choose that as a legal target. So in the case of this one, we can't have a 5-cost or 8-cost character in our deck. So we can only use this on our leader. Again, at least currently. We'll see what happens in the future. Maybe they'll come out with a character in the future that's Silver's Rayleigh. That's 4 costs or lower for red we can run in here. But right now, that doesn't exist. So we're going to be able to give our leader, watch what it does. Okay, main, so your opponent cannot activate blocker if that leader or character attacks during this turn. So we're going to be able to give 2 active Dawn cards to our leader, and now they can't block him for the turn. Okay, and that's why people were running that event we looked at earlier. I think it's Gatling, King Kong Gatling. People are buffing up their leader to go for 1 big alpha strike on 1 turn when there's no life left for the opponent. They'll give him unblockable with a card like To Never Doubt That Is Power, and they're going to buff Rayleigh up with armament hockey and with Gum Gum King Kong Gatling, and they're just going to run their opponent over. Right, that's kind of the idea there. Okay, really good effect here, but then check this out. Counter, give up to 1 of your characters or Silver's Rayleigh plus 2,000 power during this turn. Some people might have noticed, like, wait, you're not running you're running 2 2K counters. How are you going to make this work? Well, guys, these events down here double over. Some of them, not all of them. Some of these events double over as 2K counters, and this is one of them. Really solid utility event here, but I don't think we want a bunch of these. Notice I'm only running 2 of them. I don't think we need a bunch of these. Next up is Observation Hockey. This is a zero-cost event. The main effect is attach 1 active Dawn. Okay? Please don't forget that, guys. When you go to do the math, you have to attach an active Dawn, not a rested one. You attach 1 active Dawn card to your Silver's Rayleigh, and this card does a top 4 search. Look at the top 4 cards of your deck and reveal up to 1 red event or up to 1 cost 3 or greater character card and add it to your hand. Then place the rest at the bottom of your deck in any order. I just want to mention something real quick. I think this card is going to be good even outside of Rayleigh, outside of the leader Silver's Rayleigh, if you can end up running a deck that runs maybe both of these, the 5 cost and the 8 cost Rayleigh. Because what you're going to be able to do is, like, let's just say, let's go like, okay, turn, on your 8 Dawn turn, let's just say you're playing Shanks. Let's say you're playing Shanks, right? Okay, well, on your 8 Dawn turn, you can slam down Silver's Rayleigh and go from there. It's very rare that people can deal with Rayleigh on the turn in which you play them, right? Okay, well, now on the next turn, on your 10 Dawn turn, you can play out Observation Hockey to give a Dawn to Silver's Rayleigh, right? A card named Silver's Rayleigh, and then you're going to be able to do a top 4 search for a red event card or a 3 cost or higher character. So that could be Dragon, another Silver's Rayleigh, you name it. Okay, so this card I think has, I think this card out of all the different Rayleigh events, I think this one has a lot of potential to be used even outside of Silver's Rayleigh, especially once we get access to more options for Silver's Rayleigh characters. Okay, but top 4 search, excuse me, top 4 search, really solid. We'll take it every time. And it searches up any event, by the way, which is really nice. Okay, then we have Conqueror's Hockey. This is a 0-cost counter. Okay, this has no main effect, only a counter. Give up to one of your give up to one of your characters or your Silver's Rayleigh plus 2,000 power during this battle. Then you may rest one of your Dawn cards, and if you did, give all of your opponent's characters and leaders minus 1,000 power during this turn. That's an entire turn-long effect, the second part is. So you can use it as a 0-cost 2K for the battle, or you can use it as a 0-cost 2K for the battle and add 1 Dawn to that. One active Dawn, you can rest it down, and now it's minus 1,000 power to every character and leader on the board on your opponent's side for the entire turn. Very powerful defensive tool here. And then last but not least, we have Armament Hockey. This one I like the least, to be honest. Even though I run only 2 of the To Never Doubt That Is Power, I like this card, but it's really just a utility card. I don't think you want to use this but once per game. Okay, and you have a lot of searcher power to get to it over the course of the game. Armament Hockey, on the other hand, I could imagine replacing this card, believe it or not. Now, I'd have to adjust my 2K counter ratios and stuff, but, like, I could imagine, like, maybe dropping this card down some in place of the Gum Gum King Kong Gatling, the 2-cost event we've been looking at. Because notice what this does. Okay, first of all, it is give up to one of your character or your Silver's Rayleigh plus 2,000 power for the turn. So it is a 2K counter. Okay, that's very nice, right? That is really, really nice. But then the main effect here, listen to what it does. Main, you may attach 1 active Dawn card to your Silver's Rayleigh, and then give up to one of your leader or characters plus 1,000 power during this turn. So honestly, it's basically a 1-cost plus 2,000. And I think a 2-cost plus 4,000 is just a little bit better if that's what we're trying to do. Like, if I'm trying to buff my character, instead of paying 1 to give plus 2, I'd rather pay 2 to give plus 4. I think it's like more bang for your buck, right? Like, for 1 card, I can choose to pay 1 Dawn to get plus 2, or for 1 card, I can pay 2 to get plus 4. And I think that's just always going to be the better situation there. And another thing that the Gatling card does, that is a Straw Hat card, a Straw Hat Pirates card. So at that point, we can also maybe make some other decisions to maybe replace Buggy with something like the 1-cost searcher Nami. Okay, Nami, that would add more counter power to our deck, and we could search up our Luffy's with that effect. And I have seen a lot of people in the East running that as well. They're running Nami in their searcher package. I think I've even seen some decks that are actually running 20 searchers. So it's like 4 Buggy, 4 Shakiyaku, 4 Boa, 4 Observation Hockey, and 4 Nami. I have seen decks run that. And I'm not completely opposed to it, to be honest. But again, we'll have to mess around with the numbers to see what we can make happen. Okay, that's it for the full deck list breakdown. Again, and then we are running 2 Divine Departures, like I said, and we're actually running 3 Gum Gum Mulgun because this card is just incredible. Very, very strong removal in the game currently. Really good stuff here. All right, that's it. That's the full deck list breakdown. Let's head over to the sim. Let's see what this deck can do. Let's check it out, see it in action. All right, first game up, guys, we got against Black Yellow Koala. Okay, and we're going to be going against all the other leaders from OP-12 in today's video. We got 5 games. First one's going to be against Black Yellow Koala. Next one's going to be against Blue Kuzan, and then Blue Purple Sanji, then Green Zoro, and then last but not least, Purple Yellow Rosinante. Okay, and one more thing I want to say is, like, okay, going first or second as Rayleigh, I think we want to go second every time, if we can. Unless we're trying to take first away from someone, we can go first or second. We have so many 1-drops in the deck and, like, options on turn 1. But here's the thing, going second, we get to play out 2 of our 1-cost searchers, potentially, if we get them, right? Or our 2-cost searcher, right? So we can play out, so we have so many options going second, and the best one, and we're going to see it in this game if I remember correctly, we're going to play out 2 1-cost searchers, okay? And that's going to set the tone for the rest of the game, and it gets us straight into a 4-dawn turn, where we're going to be able to play out our Luffy, revealing 2 events, and then cheating out another character. Okay? All right, so here we go. Volume is off, speed is on 2x, and let's actually, no, it's not. Just kidding, guys. Speed is not on 2x. Now it is. Here we go. Okay, now we're going against Black Yellow Koala here. Let's see who goes first or second. See, I'm pretty sure, okay, yeah, Koala goes first, and we're going to be going second. So they're going to play out the Searcher. They fix their hand a little bit, and now we're going to slam down Buggy, searching up an event, fixing our hand, getting a body on the board, and now we're going to play out another Buggy. Yep, and then we're going to search up for more events. Okay. Now, again, if that was Nami, that would have been very nice there, being able to search up another 4-cost Luffy. However, against Koala, that might not be the best thing in the world. They're going to smash in for 7. We're just going to take that. And I think we are still going to do a very high-tempo play here and play out the Luffy, even though we will lose 1 life card from Koala's effect by playing out a character off of another character's effect. We use leader effect here, revealing 2 events to swing for 5 into 5. They're going to give us a 1k. We're going to swing for 5 with Rayleigh, and then we're going to play out the Luffy here to reveal 2 events, and then cheat out a character for the turn. We're going to cheat out the Sanji, attach a Dawn to our leader. So technically, and then we lost a life from that from Koala's effect, cheating out a character. Now, real quick, we did have a slight sequencing issue there. Technically, we should have played out the Luffy first to get the biggest attack off. Because when you play out Luffy, you reveal 2 event cards. You play out a 3,000 power or lower red character, and then you give a Rested Dawn card to your leader or a character, right? So we could have swung for 6, but they took it anyway, and it's probably slightly safer to play it out like this in case they got some kind of event to remove our Luffy. Okay? All right, so let's keep going. So we're going to pass the turn back. They're on their, so Koala is on their 5-dawn turn. They're going to go 5 into 3. I don't think we should protect this Buggy here. You can if you want to. Like, we had the counter power to save it. But I think we should just let it go there. Okay. They're going to play out Hack. That card is very good against Rayleigh. That on KO can KO any character in the game with a base cost of 4 or less. Yeah, it goes off the original cost of 4 or less. And that's everything in our deck, right? So that card's actually very good. We're going to swing for 6 with Sanji first. They choose to not block. They give us a 2k counter. We're going to reveal the same 2 events. One thing you're going to notice me do when I play Rayleigh, for those who might be watching, my videos who are really waiting for my Rayleigh games, what I'm going to start doing on the sim is I'm going to leave 2 events on the far left of my hand so I can keep reusing the same event over and over again. Because, okay, they already know what the card is, so I'm just going to show them every single time what it is, the same 2 cards, so I don't accidentally give them extra information. So, guys, we keep swinging. They're not using Hack. Okay, that's fine. We're going to swing for 6. Now we're not, I think we end up playing out the Shakuyaku for the turn. We fix our hand a little bit, and watch this. We're just going to pass because I couldn't give Rested Dawn out like the way that I wanted to protect my Luffy on the board, so I'm not even going to use him. Okay, Paul, there was something that happened here. I remember this game. There was something that happened here. Watch this, guys. After I play out the Shakuyaku, I passed the turn, right? Now, I didn't want to swing with the Luffy on purpose, right? When they played out Nico Robin, I was adjusting my hand. I was trying to fix the events in my hand, like what I was just talking about, like getting things where I have the cards on the left of the cards that my opponent already knows about, so I'm not scared to reveal those again. They literally know that I have the cards. I searched them up and showed them. So I was trying to adjust my hand, and they played out Nico Robin, which requires me to trash 2 cards from my hand. So I was already clicked on the Gum Gum Mulgun, and I had to trash it now. Like, I chose it as a target, and that was completely unintended. Gum Gum Mulgun is an incredible answer to Nico Robin. So just understand, this wasn't a misplay. This was a misclick here. It was really like a mistiming. I was just adjusting my hand when they played out the Nico Robin. Too funny when that kind of stuff happens. Okay, very unfortunate, but it does happen. So we had to get rid of a Divine Departure and a Gum Gum Mole Pistol, and now they might not really know much more what's in my hand either after that search, or after trashing those cards. They're going to swing it for 5. We are going to respect this attack a little bit. I think we could have let that go, and it wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world. But we do respect their attack, and we get out of that one. They play out a koala to fix their hand, and here we go. Time to start attacking, guys. Time to start attacking. Now, I should search first here with the observation hockey for another Gum Gum Mulgun, because, spoiler warning, watch what's about to happen this turn, something like that just might happen. And right here, they should have used Nico Robin, in my opinion, because I'm not going to have too many big attacks, right, to attack into it, and they have a blocker. Okay, we use observation hockey, and there we go. We got Gum Gum Mulgun. That's a much better Dawn investment to remove this Nico Robin than the Divine Departure would have been, because otherwise I was going to have to spend 6 Dawn altogether to get rid of the Nico Robin. Okay, we're going to swing for 6 here. Let's see if he wants to use Hack finally. He does not. I think he probably should have used Hack there to get rid of my Jinbei, but that's okay. We're going to swing for 5. He finally cashes in on the Hack's value, the blocker value, to get rid of another blocker. That Hack, we got an easy 2-for-1. Very nice there. And now we're going to play out the Boa for the turn, and we're probably just going to pass, guys, because we've already used our Leer effect. We can't swing with Shakuyaku. All right, here we go. They're going to swing for 5. We'll see what happens here. They're going to swing for 5 and a 3. We're going to draw a card. Nice. They're going to play out the 8-cost Sabo. Okay, that's a secret rare from, I think, like OP-05 or something like that, or maybe even OP-04. I can't remember. A very, you know, that's a secret rare you don't see much anymore, but that's a great card for Black Yellow Koala, and they've almost cleared up my entire board here. So we're going to buff the Shakuyaku here. We're going to probably swing for 5. And then I attached 2 Dawn to Boa, and I'm thinking I probably could have done that better. There had to have been a better way to do this. Maybe not, I'm not sure. We're going to swing for 6 and a 5. They should hit this with a 2K counter. Okay. Okay, they take it. That's less than ideal. Now, we're going to trash the Boa from her own effect, and that's going to put the Dawn back as rested for us to use with her effect. And now we're going to swing for 7 and a 5 to give me a 2K, 1K. And right here, I'm like, well, wait a minute. They have 1 card in hand. They have 1 Dawn open. The most they can counter out is 9, right? Like, excuse me, it's 8. So if we swing for 9, it's just game over. There you go. They use the 1 cost event there to go +4 to get to 9. We swing for 9. Good game to our opponent there. But that was, you know, that was a very aggressive start for us. Okay, next game. Good game to our opponent. That was a fun one. All right, so next up we have a game versus Blue Kuzan. Volume is off. Let's get the speed on 2x. Here we go. Blue Kuzan is it's a deck that I can't wait to put more time into playing. I think it has a lot of potential. And guys, I've played against quite a few Blue Kuzans now on the sim, and if they get to a certain board state where they start dropping down those 8 costs, you're in trouble. You're on a clock, right? It's just a matter of time before they just run you over. Okay, so they're going to start off by swinging for 5, and we do not even respect that first attack. We're actually trying to fill up our hand as much as we can, because I'm trying to get more characters in my hand. Notice this, guys, I only have 2 characters. That's why I so aggressively took that hit. We're going to be able to swing for 5 with Buggy here. We want to put some pressure on our opponent. Okay, we swing in for 5 with Buggy. They're going to go ahead and give us a 1K counter pudding, which is very surprising, seeing how big my hand size is. We're going to play out the Luffy, revealing 2 events, attaching a Dawn to my leader and playing out the Boa, and now we're going to swing in for 6. Any trigger? Let's see if they got any triggers. They did not. 5 into 3. We're going to let that card go. We don't need it that bad. They're going to swing for, it looks like they're going to swing in for 5. Okay, sure. We'll take it. We get a Divine Departure. Again, I need characters. Okay, I need characters. We're going to go 3 into 3. Does he want to save this? Be my guest if he chooses to do that, because I still have 4 more attacks into the board, and I haven't used any Dawn yet. We're going to use Observation Hockey. We're going to get some searching done. I'm looking for I think I probably should have, hang on. Let's go back real quick, guys. So understand, hang on. We got to pause. Here we go. Observation Hockey can search up any 3-cost or higher character. Okay, any 3-cost or higher character in this deck. So we could have grabbed Jinbei, and I think that would have actually been a better call. I don't remember exactly what I'm searching for here. Even the Sanji wouldn't have been a bad call. So I don't know if I'm searching for another 4-cost Luffy or what. I'm not exactly sure, but there's nothing for me to even play out with that Luffy right now. So it is kind of, it's a little bit perplexing to me. I'm not going to lie. Okay, so we do this search here. We end up grabbing Observation Hockey. We're just going to keep stacking up Dawn on our leader, and we're going to search for probably a character. Nope, I get another Observation Hockey. Again, guys, I'm not sure what's going on here, but in my head, I guess it's making sense at the time I was playing this. Sometimes it's a great idea to record your games and watch them, because you're going to make plays where you look back and you're like, what was I doing here? Like, why did I do that? And looking back, guys, I don't know why I didn't grab the Jinbei. Look, I still have 3 Dawn left for the turn. I could have played out the Jinbei here to swing for 5 more and 7. I just think it's the right call. Okay, we're going to grab our 4th Observation Hockey. I think we're starting to take a lap through the deck at this point, guys. We've done, I think, 6 searches. So that's going through. So the Observation Hockeys are 4 each, so that's like 12 right there. And then 2 top 5 searchers, that's 10 more. We've gone through like 22 cards, guys. It's pretty crazy. Okay, they're going to swing into this, and we're actually going to protect it with the 0 cost event here, which gave my character plus 2,000, and then I gave minus 1,000 to their entire board. They're going to play out Kuzan, probably locking down our Luffy. That makes the most sense. Yep, that was the right call there, I think. And here we go. We do have a Divine Departure in our hand. That's going to be a 6 Dawn investment to just get rid of this Kuzan if we want to do that. Okay, so it looks like we may or may not. We'll see what happens. We only have 7 Dawn left for the turn. I think the right call in this situation is, in fact, to just, Divine Departure and get this thing off the board. So we swing it for 7. They take that. They're down to 2. They only have 5 cards left in hand. We're going to use Divine Departure to pop the character there. We're going to reveal 2 events. We're going to give plus 2,000 to the boa. We're going to swing for 5 and make them do something about this. Okay. Let's see what they want to do. They only have 5 cards in hand. They had to use a 4K counter to get out of that because they're scared about going down in life, and that does allow them to cycle a card as well. Okay, they cycled a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger, which is very interesting to me, but I think they understand, like, okay, I need to get some characters on the board. And I agree. That is the right call. Like, they need characters on the board, or I'll just keep flooding, and I'll just keep chipping them down. It's a bunch of, like, chip damage here. Okay, so they're going to, they do fill the board out. They attack 5 into my boa. I think I probably could have saved that. Maybe it would have been the right call to save that card and just stay aggressive here. We're going to swing 5 into 5. Let's see what they choose to do. We're just poking them down, guys. We're just poking them down here. Now, the Kuzan made it where my Luffy cannot attack yet again, but we're going to play out the Uda. We're going to play out a Luffy. We're going to attach a reveal to, 2 events there, attach it on to Rayleigh. We had a slight sequencing issue again. We're going to play out the boa, and guys, my opponent has to get me this turn, or I'm just going to run them over. They've already thrown away 2 Gravity Blades. Okay, they're going to swing for 9. Sure, we'll take it. They play out a Pudding. It doesn't matter, right? I mean, I have 3 life, guys. There's just nothing they can do. We'll take it. You just swing for, okay, 5 into 2. I don't think so. We'll give you this 0 cost. This is a 2K counter for a character or Rayleigh, and then we're going to give him a 1K, and I have a 2K in hand. Now watch this, guys. I think he even attacks in with the blocker. Sure, you can have one of my attacks for your blocker, right? Because that ends up being like the same thing in this situation here. Well, right here, now we just have to do a little bit of math, and I think that I have a few issues here, like a few problems. Okay, they take the first hit. That's always nice. They end up just tapping out. But watch this, guys. This game was definitely not... I don't want to say it wasn't over, but it kind of was, because they would have had to rely on some type of trigger. So from here, we have no events to reveal, by the way. We don't have any events to reveal to buff our board. So what we're probably going to have to do in this situation is just attach 2 to Rayleigh, and then we're going to be able to get rid of the boa we just swung with to give plus 2,000 to the Uda, and then we're going to be able to swing for lots and lots of 7s, 8s, and 9s. So I think it was kind of over, even no matter what. They were going to be able to draw into a 2K counter with the ice block, but let's just see how things would have gone. So remember, guys, with ice block, you do have to trash a card, right, to get the, actually, I'll have to read it, but I'm pretty sure you have to trash the card to get the plus 4,000. I'm not sure if it's like some effects where it's like, okay, if you already get it done and then trash the card, if you have none left, you can do it. I'll have to check the wording on ice block pheasant peck, but hear me out. Let's just say things are perfect for them. They took the first hit. So now what we would do in this situation is we would get rid of boa, right? We would actually use her effect to trash her, and that would put 2 Rested Dawn cards back to the cost area, and then we could put those 2 Dawn onto Uda, and then we can attach a Dawn to Uda to swing for 7. Okay, and that's only a 1 Dawn investment extra now at this point, right? So we would still have 7 Dawn left. So that's going to go through, or let's just say they use the Ice Block Pheasant move here, Ice Block Pheasant Peck. Let's say they use that to get out of that Uda 7, okay, and then they cycle out a card, they get to a 2K counter Subaru. No problem, we're going to swing for 7 more with that next Luffy, and now we still have 6 Dawn left for the turn. They have to take it because all they would have left is a 2K counter in hand, and then after that we just smash in for, again, we would be able to math them out at that point. They'd have 1 card in hand, swing 7, 2 cards in hand, swing 9. Good game to my opponent. That was a fun one. Okay, next game. We got a game versus Blue-Purple Sanji. Like I said, guys, we're going to be going over all of the new OP-12 leaders here. All right. So they're going to go first. We do prefer going second, but I think they prefer going first. So this is a pretty even matchup here as far as, like, I think we both got, hopefully we both got the start that we wanted. So we're going to play out Buggy. We're going to play out Shakiyaku. Again, that start right there, being able to go turn one, going second, double searcher, filling out the board, putting on the pressure. That's really nice. They use a buff burst here to draw two and not to bounce back a character. Okay, it does bounce it back to the owner's hand, so I guess that does make sense. But still, not slowing me down, but getting cards in hand, maybe it's a good trade-off. Who knows? All right, so we're on a 4-Dawn turn here, and we can cheat out that 2-cost Luffy with our 4-cost Luffy. We reveal 2 cards from hand. We're going to swing 5 into 5. Our leader effect allows us to swing in there. We're going to play out the Luffy, revealing the same events, attaching a Dawn to our leader, attaching Dawn there, and we're going to swing in for 6. I attached 2 Dawn to the 2-cost Luffy just for whatever reason, just in case. You never know, right? You just never know. But we swing for 5, we swing for 6 this turn, we develop our board, and we're looking pretty good here, right? We're looking pretty good. But Blue Purple Sanji actually has a lot of answers. Blue and Purple has some really good answers right now. They're going to swing for 5 into 3. I'm really debating saving the card, but again, I don't think it's the right call to save these early 1-cost characters because I can get those back later with Uda anyway if I need to. Okay, so here we go. Got a lot of options here, guys. I think developing the Jinbei is the best one, but at the same time, getting rid of that Vinsmoke Reiju with my 4-cost event is also really, really good, right? That could be very good. And I have 4 Dawn left. Now I have a 6,000 power character. We're going to swing for 5 first, it looks like. Actually, we're going to swing for 6 first. Yeah, we're going to swing for 6 and then 5. I should have done 5, 6, 7, because watch this. I'm going to reveal two cards here. They end up getting a Gum Red Hawk, and now watch this. I forget about that. Actually, no, I don't. There was a game that happened when I was doing testing where I forgot about that, and I was not able to use the Gum Mold Gun. I wonder if it is this game. It might happen later in this game. So they got Red Rock there. That was unfortunate. That trigger really messed up my board. We did get rid of their blocker, but hey, now they have an easy character to attack into. And remember, guys, Luffy, the 2-cost Luffy, they can... excuse me, how do I say this? A strike character cannot KO this Luffy in battle, but a strike leader can, if I remember correctly. They're going to swing for 5. Yep, there it goes. It happens. Now they have 4 Dawn left. Maybe develop... Okay, this time they're going to develop a 3-cost 5K. Sanji seems good. And it's really a 3-cost 6K, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger over the course of the game, just like Burgess does. They also develop a 1-cost Vista. I do like that, being able to, cheat out these little 1-cost chump blockers the way that Sanji does, because it keeps their hand size low enough so they can just draw through their entire deck with Buff Burst. Okay, so we're going to use our leader effects here. We actually don't have a lot in hand. We need some observation hockey here. We need some way to get more cards. We're going to swing for 6. Let's see what happens here. I just have to keep the pressure on. We're going to swing for 6 more. I'm just eating up their 2K counters. And now we are going to play out the Jinbei. We're going to swing for 6 more. Again, I'm just trying to eat up their hand, eat up their 2K counters, and go from there. So I can probably protect my Jinbei this turn, but maybe not. It depends on what he plays. If he plays out, what's it called? Brochet Blow, I think it is, where he gives minus 3,000 for 1. That could be pretty brutal. Actually, I think it's for 3, but they can Dawn -1 with the leader effect to do it. They're going to play out another Reiju. They're going to go 7 into 5. We're going to use the Conqueror's Hockey here to go plus 2,000 to our character and minus 1,000 to them. Okay, we did get another character, which is nice. It's something to play out, because notice this, guys. This is part of the balance of the deck here, is having enough events in your deck to always be able to use your leader effects, but having enough characters to be able to fill out the board. Okay, they dealt with our board very nicely. We're coming in for 6 here. They're going to give us a 2K counter. And here we go. In this situation, we're going to go 6 more into face. I think it's just better to keep this pressure on them. They had to use a Gum Giant trashing a Red Rock to use that there. Okay, we're going to play out the Luffy as another attacker for next turn. I'm just, again, guys, I'm trying to set up a board here, but this Sanji is just drawing through their entire deck and finding all their answers. They're playing very well. There's the third Reiju, guys, and this time I don't have an answer for it in my hand, but maybe we'll be able to search it up with this 1-cost searcher here. All right, that Sanji is now 7,000 power, guys. That Sanji is now 7,000 power. Going to start off with the Shakuyaku search, but watch this. I wish I had done it the other way around because I grabbed the event, and now watch when I search out the Buggy here. I think I used the Buggy after this just to fill out my board, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I need to use that. Oh, I think this is the turn, guys. I think this is the turn. I forget to attach the Dawn to the Luffy, so he's not a 6,000 power character. Okay. And I'm pretty sure this is the turn I make a massive mistake here with the Gum Gum Mulgun. I didn't attach the Dawn to him yet, so he's not a 6,000 power character. And I was like, oh no. I was shaking my head at this point, like, all right, the game's not over. I'm still swinging for 7 into 5. He's going to have to use a blocker or some type of defensive event at this point. He uses Concaster. That's fine. One costs 4K for Sanji, pretty much. We're going to swing for 7 more. He's going to have to probably give me the Vista blocker or go down even more cards or go down to 0 life. And going down to 0 life against Rayleigh is not very wise, right? That is not the wisest decision. Okay, here we go. So guys, he's at 0 life. Remember, Rayleigh runs an event that makes him unblockable. Okay? I'm just saying, but watch this, guys. This gets pretty crazy here. Do not miss this. This ending is a banger. Okay, this is a crazy ending here. Watch this. So I'm starting to lose the game. He swings in for 8 here. Okay, yep, I take it. There's the card we needed. To never doubt. That is power. He bottom decks my card. He has 2 blockers. He's got 4 cards in hand and about 6 Dawn active. Okay, he's going to swing it for 9, dropping me down to 1. Plays out another blocker. Okay, I have to all in here, guys. I have to go all in, but good news. Good news. Rayleigh is very good at that. We're going to use Observation Hockey. We're going to end up grabbing this To Never Doubt That Is Power, and we're just going to buff as much as we can here. We're just going to keep Observation Hockey. We're going to look for Armament Hockey. We're going to Armament Hockey once, twice, okay? Use this card to make him unblockable. Use that card. I'm showing my opponent, hey, I'm all in, bro. You got it or you don't. 17 into 5, unblockable. Gum Gum Giant. He goes to 9. Concaster goes to 13. Concaster goes to 17. And then he barely didn't have enough, guys. He was 1K away from getting through a 17K unblockable. Guys, Blurple Sanji, there might be something there. If that leader gets just a little bit more support, like that's really geared towards him as a leader, that leader could go crazy. That was incredible. Good game to my opponent. They almost got me with that one. That was wild. Okay, so that was that game. Let's go ahead. Next game we have against Zoro. Okay, volume is off, speed is on 2x, and here we go. All right, so it looks like Zoro's going to be going first here. We're going to go second, but we do not have a really strong start. We do a top search here. We're not able to find Luffy. We do grab Observation Hockey, and I think we're going to use that right away. Guys, we're desperately searching for the 4-cost Luffy right now. That's why I used that event the way I did. That was Observation Hockey is really kind of meant to be a more aggressive style event where you get to attach it onto your leader and do the search, so you get to swing for 6 even while doing that. But the thing is, I'm trying to find a card here to play out on curve. So if I had used it this turn, I'd only have 3 Dawn left for the turn to work with. So we're not able to find the Luffy on curve, but that's not a big deal. We're just going to try to keep the pressure on. We're going to swing 5 into 5 here, and I think we're going to swing 5 more into 5. Okay, they're down to 3 life already. We're going to play out the Jinbei, swinging for 5 more. Your turn. And guys, they're going to play out Tashigi. They rest down our board. We don't care. They're probably going to smash into the Jinbei here. They're actually going to very wisely attack into the Shakuyaku. I would have probably defended the Jinbei, guys. It'd have been a 2K to get out of that. But at the same time, notice my hand. I think I only had a single 2K at the time, so I might have let it go. They played a little too safe there, right? They played a little too safe. We're going to use our leader effect to buff the Jinbei so we can swing in for 6. I think we're just going to try to flood the board this turn. So we're going to swing in for 5, then we're going to swing in for 6. They take that. They're down to 2 cards, down to 2 life. Their hand must be completely bricked right now, guys. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but we're going to keep flooding this board. 3-cost Sanji into 2-cost Boa into 1-cost Buggy. And here we go. We got a 4-cost Buggy to play out next turn. Let's see what they choose to do here. They're going to play out the Kuzabaro or whatever his name is there to get rid of my Buggy. Seems good because that is immune to slash attacks, right? That Buggy is very good against Zoro. And that 3-cost Kuzabaro and the 4-cost promo Zoro is like one of the best ways to deal with it. Okay. So they do deal with our board a little bit there. Seems good. And now we are going to be able... We're at 2 life, okay? So, you know... We got to really lock in here if we're going to try and beat Zoro. Zoro's a very tough deck to deal with right now, guys. We're going to go 8 into 2. No, okay, notice what we did there. Pause. Let me explain what just happened. That was a pretty intricate play there. Okay, so this is how they finished out the turn. We used the 0-cost, 2-cost, and a 1-cost here to get out of that, or 2-cost and 2K and 2K to get out of that 7K attack. Now, watch this. They have this card on the board called Kushiro, the 2-cost blocker on the far right. Now, read how Mulgun works. Give up to one of your opponent's characters minus 5,000 power during this turn, okay? Then if you have a character with 6,000 power or more, this time we do. We got Sanji with 6,000 power or more. We can KO. So then if you have a character with 6,000 power or more, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with a power of 2,000 or less. We don't have to choose the same target we gave the minus 5,000 debuff to. Okay, so watch what we do here. Because that Kashiro, for those who are not aware, the 2-cost Kashiro on their side can protect their slash characters from removal. Okay, I think it's from KO effects only though. Okay, so we're going to use Sanji. We're going to use the Rayleigh to buff the Sanji. I'm not making that same mistake twice, right? We do minus 5,000 to the Tashigi, KOing the Kashiro blocker that protects the slash characters, and then we just, run into the Tashigi, 8,000 into 2,000. We're going to play out some cards here. I don't think, we've already used our leader effect, so we're just going to swing for 6. We can't swing with Boa. We used our leader effect on the Sanji. Okay, here we go. They're going to play out Dracula Mihawk, standing up 4 Dawn. They're going to swing in for 8 into 3. Okay, you can have that card. We're not defending that. Swinging for 8 into 9. Guys, we're about to be at 2 life if we don't protect out of this. I think we're going to have to give him a 2K, 1K, 1K, or take the hit. We're going to take it. And now, guys, maybe it's time to start going in for lethal here. It's hard to say, because our board is no joke, and we know they're kind of bricked. We've seen how aggressively they've had to take some of these hits to life. And we have double Jinbei in hand as well. So we're going to play out the Jinbei, revealing the 2 events. Here we go. We have extra attackers here. Okay, I have to do a little bit of math. I'm still learning the deck and stuff like that. We're going to attach 2 Dawn for free to our Luffy. And let's see what we choose to do here. I think we're going to swing for maybe all 6s across the board. Okay, we saw that the 5s were going through, so 6s probably should be able to go through as well. We're going to attach 2 Rested Dawn card after swinging for 6 with Boa to the Jinbei. And now we still have a lot of attacks. I just have to do a little bit of math here. Observation Hockey. We end up getting the Gum Gum Mole Gun. This is where like a 1-cost Otama would be insane on 5 Dawn, where it's like, okay, Otama, get rid of this Dracula Mihawk and go about things like that. So we're going to use the Mole Gun to get rid of the Kuzabaro. And then we're also going to go minus 5,000 to the Mihawk. That is a 3,000 power blocker. We're swinging in for 6, and now we're swinging in for 7. They end up having to use the blocker. Watch this. They make a slight mistake here, guys. Make sure you read these cards. I know it's very obnoxious how much I say it, but those 1-cost counters right there are for leaders only. Okay, leaders only. So they were not able to save their Mihawk. They let the card go. They're going to swing 10. They have to go all in here for the most part. They're going to go 10 into face here. We take this. Now they're going to pay 3 to restand, go 10 more. We have plenty, guys. I'm going to use that. Plus 3. I'm just going to show my, hey, man, honestly, even with the Mihawk there, I don't know if it would have been enough. But at the same time, that was definitely just a play mistake on their end. They should have, let's go back to this turn. So they shouldn't have blocked this last attack here. They should have just used the 1-cost 3K counter to protect their guy. And then this turn would have gone a little bit differently. Because watch this, then they would have, on this turn, they would have been able to do this, it would have probably been a 9K, 9K, 9K at face. And if that's the case, then they probably, let's see what I got from my life just so we can do the math. Because it would have been 3 9K attacks with the Mihawk and leader. The 9K into my board, we would just let go. We don't care about it because we're trying to win here. We're trying to go for lethal, right? So they get rid of 1 card, and then it would be 9. Okay, so let's see what we got. We did get a 0-cost 2K from hand. That's a 2K counter. So if they were going to be able to swing for 9, 9, 9, we could only get out of 2, 1, 1. Yeah, we would have only been able to get out of one of them. So if they had not messed that up, guys, Green Zoro would have probably should have won this game unless he decided to not swing with the Mihawk. So either way, good game to our opponent. All right, let's go on to the next one. We got one more game to go over here. Got a game versus, this is Purple Yellow Resonante. Volume is off, speed is on 2x, and here we go. Okay. So guys, all the new OP-12 leaders look so much, they look like so much fun. I can't wait to dive into each one of them, dive more into each one of them. Rayleigh is something I'm going to try to put a lot of time into. Rayleigh's my favorite character for those who are not aware, but I can't wait to put time into each one of these new leaders, guys. But be patient with me. I know it's just a matter of time. Be patient with me. All right, they're going to play out the 4-cost law here. We played out the 2. We're going first this game. So turn 1, we had no 1-cost somehow. It happens, I guess. Turn 2, on our 3-Dawn turn, we had, we play out the Boa. And we're trying to fix our hand. Now this turn, we're going to be able to reveal 2 events and cheat out another Boa to fill up our hand, attaching a Dawn to our leader. And now we can aggressively go at them here with the Boa if we want to, using our leader's effect. But let's see if we choose to do that or not. I do reveal an armament hockey, so we're going to swing for 5. Watch this. I actually use the observation hockey, though. I should have swung first with the Boa if I even choose to do that. Okay, so we go ahead and fix our hand a little bit. Got to make sure we are on 2x speed, right? Yep. Okay, so we swing for 7. I think he should have just blocked and 2K countered there. I'm not sure what happened. Why did I miss something? Hang on one second. I had to check the speed of the video real quick. Okay, so we end up swinging for 5. Oh, no, we swing for 7. Okay, and they give us a 2K, 1K. And then we pass the turn. Okay, yeah, so I think they should have blocked and given a 2K counter there, because then even if I had swung in for the 5 here with the Boa, they could have 1K countered out with the card they gave up. They used Trafalgar Law there, Dawn -1, making me trash 2 cards at random. Very nice. And they have another blocker on the board now. But guys, our board's getting very, very wide. Our board's becoming very, very wide. So let's see if they can deal with this. We're going to swing for 5 in, I think, for maybe even 6. We'll see what happens. Yeah, just swing for 5. I like this way better. Just swing for 5, see what they give us. Because we're about to fill this board out, guys. We're actually about to fill this board out so we can play out the Luffy here, revealing the 2 events, playing out the Boa, giving a Dawn to our leader, a rested Dawn to our leader, and now we get to do a top 5 search for an event or a Luffy. Now we have 3 rested Dawn cards. We can recycle the Boa here to give Dawn somewhere else, and that way we can, buff our Luffys. I think this was a slightly greedy play here. Watch what happens. So notice where my 2 attached Dawn are. They're on 1 character. I have 1 attached Dawn, 1 given Dawn to my leader, and 2 given Dawn to my Boa. And I'll explain something in a minute that is relevant. So we swing 5, swing 5, swing 6, swing 6. That's how this is going to go. They're going to counter out of that. We're going to swing for 6 with leader. And then I was really debating just not even swinging in with the Luffy. But watch this. We are just going to swing. So I think I should sacrifice Boa here to give 2 to the Luffy. There we go. That's what I was going to say. I think that's the right call, just so it's easier to protect. They end up I don't know why they gave up so early there. They could have used a blocker and done something, get out of that maybe. Well, actually, they don't have any 2Ks in hand. They drew this 1K from the last hit, I believe. So maybe they should have just given up this 4-cost 5K blocker just to keep their health a little bit higher, and then play out the 7-cost 9K to gain a life. I have no idea. I think they had some other options, but it looks like they were just done with it. They were fed up. They said, nope, that's enough. Either way, good game to my opponent. This deck puts a lot of pressure on people. So, if you don't see the right pool with a deck like Rosinante, it can be overwhelming. It can, it can get pretty rough pretty quickly. Okay, good game to all my opponents. Let's go ahead and check out the deck list one more time. All right, so the deck's running really well. I think it's pretty much figured out for the most part so far. If you guys have any spicy cards you want to mention down in the comment section below, by all means, please tell me what you've been cooking up with down there. Another card, like I said, I really can't stress enough, is the Straw Hat Searcher Nami. This is probably going to be the way to go, like for my future builds. I think we can actually go -4 Buggy to go +4 Nami, okay? And then at that rate, maybe we start, again, it's something I'm considering. I might have to mess around with the 2K counter ratios and stuff like that. But at that point, I am considering dropping some of these, if not all of these armament hockeys. Maybe even drop 1 armament hockey and maybe 1 other random card in the deck. Maybe this Uda, because it's more of a tech card. And then maybe I can go +2 of the 2-cost Gum Gum King Kong Gatling, or whatever it's called. Yeah, Gum Gum King Kong Gatling. And this looks pretty good to me. Now, like I said, over here in the West, man, I expect to see a lot more buggies, especially locally where I am. But if you don't expect to see any buggies, you don't have to get rid of the armament hockey. You can just drop these 2 Divine Departures and go about things from there. Then you can go up the, maybe go up to 4 armament hockey or something like that. Let me see where it is. Here we go. Yeah, you can go up to 4 armament hockey. And then you could also maybe even consider, actually maybe just 3, because I think 3 is what we were running before. Maybe run 3 of those, and then let me get the leader on here. And then we'll have 1 extra spot. You can kind of do what you want with it. Maybe go up the Uda again. We're kind of hopping all over the place, guys. Y'all bear with me. But again, if you guys have any ideas, for how to improve the list, by all means, please share it in the comment section below. Now, as far as the numbers go, I think we're running 18 events, and I think that's a nice spot for the deck. So we're running 4, 8, 12, 16, 18. Yeah, so we're running 18 events in the deck. And I think that is a nice spot to be at. I think it's like a real sweet spot in the deck. Because hear me out, guys. If you look at, using like, maybe we will bring this up real quick, guys. If we bring up like a hypergeometric calculator, let me bring it over real quick. And I'll show you guys why the number 18 is really nice. It's not like you have to use that, but it does end up being a pretty nice number for consistency's sake. So right now we're over on gumgum.gg, and they have a hypergeometric calculator on here, and check this out. So if you have 50 cards in the deck, right, that's what, let me make sure you guys can see this okay. Yeah, I'm going to zoom in just a little bit here. So say you have 50 cards in your deck, right? Here's the number here. That's in the hypergeometric calculator, and the card scene. So how big is the search going to be? Okay, let's say it's a 5-card search, like for Nami or Shakuyaku or whoever. Maybe, you know, I think Boa also does a top 5 search, and Observation Hockey does a top 4. But here we go. So say you got 50 cards in your deck. You're going to do a top 5 search, and how many hits can you have? Okay, well, let's say we have, if we only have 4, actually, let's do 10 hits. Say we only had 10 events that we could hit in this deck, right? Okay, and we want to see at least one of them. Well, we have about a 70% chance to hit at least one of a card that we have 10 of in the deck on a top 5 search in a 50-card deck. Now, let's just say we have 18. Now watch what the number goes to. Exactly 90. And I picked that number for a reason. It's really more of like a numbers sake type of thing, where I basically have a 1 in 10 chance of whiffing. That's kind of the way I see it. And with some of these cards, it's even less than that, right? So for example, you know, if you're searching with Nami, you're going to have all those Luffys you can search up. Actually, probably Boa is the best example, Boa in Shakuyaku, because you're doing a top 5 search, and then you're looking at all the event. You're looking for any event in the deck, and then any card named Luffy. So, okay, in that situation, let me just look real quick for let me see if Boa does the same thing. Yeah, it's a top 5 for any red event and Monkey D. Luffy. Okay, so we're running 4 of this 2 cost, 4 of the 4 cost, and 2 of the 3 cost. So that's 10 more, and then the 18 events. So 28 cards in the deck we can search up with something like Boa. Right, so when we look at those numbers now, let's go to those numbers. So that's 28 targets in the deck. So it's almost a 100% chance. It's almost it's almost unwhiffable, right? Anything's possible. There's still that 1.2% chance, but you know that's just kind of how it is. And you are gonna have to do some math on the fly. Like in the middle, if you're in the middle of a game, you're not gonna have 50 cards left in your deck. Let's say you've gone. So think about it, you draw 5 cards for the beginning of the game. You have 5 cards in your life, so there's 10 cards not in your deck. And let's just say you're about 7 or 8 cards deep because you've done some searches. So let's just say you've got about 35 cards. Whoops, that was meant to be 35. Let's say you have about 35 cards left in your deck, right? And then the cards you're going to see is 5. But now instead of there being 28 targets to hit in your deck, or let's use the event example first. Like say you're searching for an event so you can pull off your leader's effect. Okay. Now let's say you have 4 events in your hand, and let's just assume 2 are in your life. So that's going to be, actually it's probably going to be more than that. Say we've gone through about 5 or 6 events, and then maybe there's 2 or 3 in your life. So let's just say there's like -9 events. So let's go down to 11, because remember there's 18 events, altogether in the deck, and we're searching for an event in this example. Okay, well even if we drop down to only 35 cards left in the deck with 11 options still to hit, a top 5 is going to hit what we need, still at around 87%. So that's pretty good, right? And if you want to mess around with the numbers, if you want to risk it a little bit more, again, like let's go back to the 50 card example, and instead of doing 18 for a 90% hit rate, maybe you're okay with a 75% hit rate, guys. Maybe you want to go down to like 18, 12. I was supposed to say 12. Maybe you want to go down like a 75% hit rate, so where you can get away with like really 12. If you have 12 searchable event targets in the deck for your leader effects, maybe that's as low as we can go, where we're only going to whiff 1 out of every 4 times. That's going to be something we have to consider messing around with in the future. Okay, that's enough of the nerd stuff. Let's go ahead and start wrapping this video up, guys. Again, if you have any, if you guys have any comments, questions, or suggestions about the deck, by all means, say something. This is roughly what they're running over on. We got to bring up Gum Gum GG one more time, guys. And I'm not going to do like a deep dive into each individual deck list, but if you go to GumGum.gg, not only do they have this hypergeometric calculator, they also have, lists of Silver's Rayleigh. And look at this, guys. I believe it was last night, 21 hours ago, this list got submitted here. And notice their list is very similar to what we were running. Now, they are running Kid and Killer as a 2 of, and they're running the 2K counter Sanji here. So that it's a good thing we checked this out, guys. Notice how budget this list looks already. I know we don't have the prices for OP-12 yet, but this is probably going to be a decently budget list. Make sure to pick up, guys, if you're trying to play Rayleigh when it comes out in OP-12 in the future in the West, please pick up every single card on here that you already know to get and go from there, right? Have those saved up, and then whenever Rayleigh gets dropped out, released on OP-12, look at this, guys. The leader is going to be pretty much free. That's just going to, you're going to bust that open in a pack easily. Then the Shakuyaku's here. This is a rare. And then, of course, the new Boa Hancock, and the new Jinbei, and then all of the new events. So I couldn't imagine that being too expensive. This is probably going to be a pretty decent budget list. But notice this, guys. Like I said, they are running the Gum Gum King Kong Gatlings. They're not running Divine Departure. Like I said, I don't think they're worried about Buggy at all over there in the West, or excuse me, over in the East. So they don't need to have Divine Departure. If you take out Divine Departure, you can easily just go +2 Gum Gum King Kong Gatlings if you want to. And as far as they are running this Sanji here, this seems like a good card for when your opponent's trying to starve you a little bit, because sometimes what happens is you're so aggressive on the board, it's very, you know, your opponent's not even trying to starve you. They're just trying to gobble up the board. They're trying to attack into all your characters and get rid of your board so that way they can make it into the late game where you have nothing, you know, to threaten them with. Well, a card like Sanji says, sorry, not only am I going to go super aggressive into you, but you're not going to be able to starve me now because I'm going to use my activate main to draw a card for my life. You can't starve me now. And then you're going to have more options and stuff like that. So this is a great idea for the deck here. We see Buggy. Like I said, Buggy was very solid, but it is going to go past every character in the deck, guys. Buggy can only search events, okay? But the fact that he cannot be KO'd in battle by slash attribute cards, that is very nice. I'm not going to lie. Like going into like a deck like Green Zoro, remember, there's a little bit of a difference between this card, Buggy, and the 2-cost OP-01 Luffy. Luffy cannot be KO'd in battle by strike attribute characters. Buggy, this character cannot be KO'd in battle by slash attribute cards. So even the leader cannot attack in to Buggy to get rid of it. So really good stuff there. Then we have Kid and Killer. This is a great finisher. It's basically the top in for Rayleigh being a 4-cost 7K rusher. Really, really good stuff here. Okay, and then what else? I think that's about it. Everything else we're kind of seeing is the same. They are running Magra in here. This is a 1-cost character, 1-cost 2,000 power, 1K counter. On play, up to one of your red characters with a cost of 1 gains plus 3,000 power during this turn. And you can chain these into other Magras, right? So like say, let's just say for the sake of this example, you're trying to swing in with Nami. Okay, you can, first of all, you can buff it with your leader effect if you can reveal the events. And then you can play out a Magra to buff this 1-cost red character by 3,000 more. And then now you have this Magra on the field. What am I supposed to do with this card? What is this thing even supposed to do now? Well, number one, you can buff it with your leader and give it a Dawn and swing for 5. Okay, so literally attach 1, swing 5. Or play out another Magra, and notice what it says, up to one of your red characters with a cost of 1 gains plus 3,000 power during this turn. So even another Magra can buff another Magra. Really good stuff there. What else? That's really about it, guys. Notice, like I said, and this is a list that just got top 8 at a large CS event, like a 500-plus player regional level tournament. Okay, really good stuff there. Awesome. Okay. All right, so that's about it. Now we will go back to the deck list just to kind of summarize. I think the list is pretty well figured out. And guys, if you're trying to play Rayleigh on release in OP-12, which I believe is sometime in August for us in the West, I would be sure to snatch up these cards that you're seeing on here because we don't know. And I understand like this card might not make the final cut. Who knows? It might not, it might not, right? But it'd be good to at least keep your eye on cards like this, you know, to get this now versus in the future where it might go up in price. Because what if Rayleigh starts doing very well, guys, and starts winning a lot of tournaments and stuff like that? It's already doing pretty well in the East, guys, so it's not that far-fetched to say. But if Rayleigh starts doing really well, I would snatch up these cards while they're still cheap, while they're still pretty affordable. Okay, that's just me. All right, I'm done. Hope you all enjoyed. Let's finish this up. Let me get the outro page on here. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Guys, if you're supporting me in any way, shape, or form, whether you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing, whatever you're doing to help me out, using my TCG Player affiliate link, if you're supporting me through donations on Patreon or PayPal, Playmat supporters, YouTube members, Discord community, however you're helping me out or helping out the community, thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. This community has been so incredible. This game has been so good, and it keeps getting better and better. All right, hope you all enjoyed. Till next time, guys. Peace.